Alright folks, I have sort of broached on this subject before, but here is another beat mixing tutorial for the total and utter beginner. First of all, you will need 2 identical copies of a piece of music, 2 vinyl copies, 2 CDs, 2 PC programs. Then what you need to do is look at your mixer. Have you got what is known as pan control on your mixer? You will have a dial exactly the same as your bass, mid and treble, and either side you'll have R and an L. The R is for right, the L is for left. If you've got that, then that's the cat. This is what you need to do. You need, say, your left hand turntable, you need to move the pan to the L, to the left side. So now this channel here, which is on this CD player, now all of the sound will only come out of the left hand side. Then the opposite applies here. This guy here is the right hand CDJ. I would put the pan to the right, and then now the sound will only come out of the right side. If though you haven't got that, then this is what you need to do. You need to look at the back of your mixer and the actual CD player or your vinyl turntable, which is on your left side. You will need to take out the right RCA cable out of the back of the mixer. So now you will only have the sound coming out of the left side from the left CDJ. Excuse me. The same applies with the right hand side, but the opposite. What you will need to do, you will need to take out the left RCA, that's one of these guys here, the left from the right side. Now you will only have the right channel playing from the right turntable through the right hand speaker. This is what you need to do first of all. Set the pitch control dead center, and if you've got a readout on your CDJ turntable, make sure it's all at 0. Set it like so. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the right one out of this side, because that's the left, and I'm going to take the left one out of that side, and just check to make sure. Now the actual music from this one is only coming out of that speaker, and this one is coming out of that speaker there. So I'm going to turn it up slightly. Now, what you need to do first of all is, and this is where it gets quite clever, you need to start them off at exactly the same time. So if I just go out a little bit so you can see what my fingers are doing. That's a bit better. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Now, what you need to look for is a phasing sound where they almost join together. Now you can do that by just messing around with the jog wheel. No headphones are needed. Now what you'll find is it's weird, but the sound will sort of move from speaker to speaker. You need to get that sound dead center. But bearing in mind, at the moment, the pitch is set to 0, so it's relatively easy. Right, I'm going to stop it. We're back to the beginning. Right back at the beginning. Now this is where it gets slightly more interesting. What I want you to do now is I want you to move your pitch control on one of them, either up a bit or down a bit. It doesn't really matter. Maybe in this case, I'm going to move it up. Now, at this point, you could look at the readout and you could see you've moved it by plus, say, 2.1. Well, then, if you then copied that exactly on the other side and looked at the readout, you would be cheating at this particular point, because the whole idea here is to get your ears used to that sound moving from side to side. So, what you need to do, possibly, is just cover that over so you can't see, so you're not cheating, because the idea, if you want to learn to beat mix, there's no point relying on that 24/7. You've got to rely on these. So I'm going to do exactly the same on this side now. I'm going to move the pitch up a tiny bit, like so. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to start them off at the same time, and I'm going to listen to that effect, whereby you'll actually hear, you will hear the sound almost travelling from one speaker to the other. You need to get it so the sound is no longer going from one to the other, it's almost joined in the middle. When it's joined in the middle, you have got those 2 tracks perfectly beat matched. So, let's give it Don't ask me what the cat's doing over there. Right, here we go. 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put that over there as well so I can't see. I could hear the sound almost over that side, and slowly it's going to move about. And again, with the jog wheel, if you need to move the jog wheel clockwise, it means you're speeding it up. And if you have to continually move the jog wheel clockwise, then that means one thing: you will need to move the pitch forward. If, on the other hand, you are continually having to move the jog wheel anti-clockwise to get it in the centre, then that means one thing: you will need to move the pitch down to the minus position. But don't wang it down a lot. Bear in mind, we're fine-tuning, so only move it tiny amounts to begin with. And then, when you get to the point where it's dead centre, and it stays dead centre, theoretically, you've got it beat matched. Practice and enjoy.